So the leaks for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 18 have been released. And sorry that this video is coming out a little later. I personally was going to skip it this month because I'm kind of tired. However, at the time of recording this video, I didn't see anybody post the leaks on YouTube. So I decided that I would get to my computer and start recording. However, what we do have here are the text spoilers and not the page spoilers that we usually get. Last chapter, we didn't get the page spoilers at all, and this may be a common theme. So this may be the only leaks that we get apart from the other sneak peek that will be released in the future. So just bear that in mind when we come to discuss the text spoilers. The volume cover that will be released for volume chapter 4 is going to be a flashback page of Sasuke and Boruto. This is what we are told by Ray, the leaker. He did last time lie that Damon and Jiro would be fighting, however his other leaks were 100% correct. So maybe there's a leak here and there that is not true, but the majority will be an accurate reflection of the chapter to come. The person who is the cover for this chapter is Matsuri. And what I'm going to see, I've already read everything that happens, but this chapter is kind of crazy, and somebody did predict that this would be the case, and I will post their comment right here because he basically predicted what was going to happen in this chapter. So the chapter starts off with Sumire entering Amado's lab, where we see Kawaki pinning Amado to a wall. Sumire is surprised and she shouts Kawaki as he demands that his limiters be lifted. Kawaki looses his grip, allowing Amado to breathe and speak. However, Amado activates the shutdown code, causing Kawaki to fall asleep. Now basically what we're seeing right here is something a lot of people predicted. A lot of people, myself included, did predict that Amado would end up using the shutdown code to end up deactivating Kawaki. But what we are seeing right here is Sumire basically selling Kawaki, because from all the information that we end up picking up from the Code arc, when Code ended up torturing Amado, we had a situation due to the fact that Amado has been stated to be a poor resistor to torture. He ended up doing exactly what Code said. But in this case, due to Sumire interrupting Kawaki and basically causing Kawaki to loosen his grip, we have an Amado who was able to speak the command code and cause Kawaki to shut down. One could argue that Amado would still have been able to do this without the likes of Sumire, because just like Code getting his limiters removed, maybe Kawaki getting his limiters removed too would require some sort of words to be spoken. Thus Amado could have simply spoken the words necessary to shut down Kawaki, but what we see here is definitely Sumire playing a role in Kawaki being shut down. Amado and Sumire have a short little conversation while Kawaki is sleeping, and we don't have those translations for the chapter at the current moment. Maybe I'll post some with the translations, but I just think it'd be better to just wait for the chapter to come out. If we do actually end up getting the pages that are released, maybe I'll make a short little video going over things that maybe we couldn't see in the sneak peek, or just confirming a few things that we end up seeing in these text spoilers, as Ray in the past has lied, but we'll end up seeing when it is discussed. However, from what we hear from Ray, the conversations that Amado and Sumire have is quite important, alongside the ones that happen between Kawaki. So we go back to Suna with Sarada and the other people who are working in her team. This includes Ayara, Yado, Mitsuki, Konohamaru, and Matsuri. Ryu, Sarada, and Matsuri are heading to where Yado and Ayara are, but Ryu seems suspicious, so he activates his Iron Sand. And there is a very big problem with this strategy, and this is why I'm saying that this strategy never made any sense to me, and it's so crazy to me that Shikamaru is the one who came up with it. And let me just first examine the main flaw. The main flaw with this is the fact that we had the likes of Matsuri who already met with Ayara and Yado. This ended up leading to Shinki being turned into a tree and Gaara being sealed with the ability from Shinki. Now, if Matsuri already saw the likes of Ayara and Yado, they would know that they would never work with the likes of the Shinju, due to them basically leading to Shinki being turned into a tree and Gaara being sealed. They know that they would never actually trust the Shinju. So now Ayara and Yado making an appearance with the likes of Ryu would confirm that something suspicious is actually happening. You could say that Ryu isn't there, but you have to remember that the Renegon is an ability that is linked. So like we saw in the Pain arc with all those different puppets, their Renegon was linked. And we also saw something similar when Obito was taking control of the Jinchurikis. so it's fair to say that their vision should be linked. And at the very least, when Matsuri got back to base and ended up talking to Shinki, leading to Shinki being the one to come alongside Matsuri, it would make a lot of sense if Ryu knew about the existence of Yado and Ayara. So Yado and Ayara exposing themselves without initially just simply fighting the likes of Ryu, I simply think it is a dumb plan. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. So he activates his Iron Sand powers, and then we end up going back to the page of the sneak peek where we have a flashback of Moegi and Konohamaru when they were kids. This Moegi is still blushing. Just like I've said, Moegi in the past, she always had a thing for Konohamaru. That was quite clear, and it is being manifested by the likes of Matsuri. But what is also quite interesting is Matsuri and Ryu were pretending to be nice. They knew that they were after their torn souls since the very beginning. And this is coming from Rei's interpretation of the text that we are being shown. This doesn't necessarily mean that they were actually pretending to do so, as a lot of people would say that maybe it is bad writing that Matsuri was blushing and clearly out of control, and then all of a sudden Ikimoto says that they are pretending. Both things could be true. She clearly has emotions that are felt for Konohamaru. But as we saw in the sneak peek page, she said that now she is starting to get used to being around Konohamaru, and after she is starting to learn these emotions and control these emotions, she can go back to the plan at hand. She still recognizes that they are after the torn soul, but she can't stop herself from blushing and experiencing this love that she has for Konohamaru. But at the end of the day, after getting used to these emotions and settling down for a period of time, she is now going to be able to carry on the plan. And Ryu pretending this entire time, this is peak. I really did not expect this, and this goes back to Kashin Koji's plan. Does Kashin Koji know about all of this? Clearly, if you saw the future, you would know that this is an outcome that could take place, or maybe there were a lot more futures where this outcome simply didn't happen. I don't know, and you guys let me know in the comment section below. But what's very hilarious to me is that 2 days ago, I dropped a video, and one of the comments did say that it would be hilarious if Ryu and Matsuri were just joking around and pretending, if they were doing that to manipulate the guys of the Leaf. And this is basically what we're seeing take place. I really did not expect somebody to call this, and shout out to you again, you're actually a genius. So we go back to the Leaf Village, where we have a Kawaki who ends up in a room with Amado, Sumire, and Akibi's body. So we clearly know what Amado is trying to set up. Amado is trying to set up Kawaki having to implant a karma on Akibi's body if he wants to get his limiters removed. And this is essentially what Rei is saying here. They have a long conversation talking about implanting his karma on Akibi's body, and Kawaki doesn't seem to want to do it. And doesn't seem to want to do it is simply going based what he saw. The full translations did not come out, so we do not know exactly what is being said, but based off Kawaki's expressions, I believe that he is deducing that Kawaki is not on that wavelength. However, we have to remember a very important part of Kawaki's character, and that is the lengths in which he goes to attain power. Kawaki still has to reason through his mind, but if he really deems that this is the only way that he's going to be able to become more powerful, and the ends justify the means, by having Amado promise to Kawaki that Akibi is not some sort of alien Otsutsuki that he is reviving, thus we could see a Kawaki end up implanting his karma on the likes of Akibi. And due to the fact that this is taking a little bit of time, it almost seems like Ikimoto is stalling this process, in my opinion. Then it means that the reveal of Akibi could actually be something that is quite crucial to the story. She might be something to be afraid of. She might end up being one of those future villains, maybe a missing Otsutsuki, maybe something quite crucial, but her revival will be quite interesting. We go back to the Land of Wind, where Matsuri stops blushing all of a sudden. So yes, she was pretending, and then she attacks Konohamaru. This is where Ryu takes out his torn soul as bait. This is quite interesting to me. The torn soul is flying in the air, and he seems to be using it as bait. So Yado charges towards it and tries to grab it. This is very interesting, and based off these tech spoilers, I'm going to be the first one to say it. Ryu is my favorite Shinju, minus the likes of Jura. Because what we are seeing Ryu actually do right here is actually crazy. Not only were they manipulating the likes of Team 7 and the guys from the Land of Wind win since the very beginning, but now he is actively baiting them to form some sort of attack and to prove his mind, to prove to himself that what Jira said about the likes of the Leaf guys is actually false. So he actually has a reason to kill them. We already know that Ryu always loves to fight. We've seen this with the likes of Code, and we see this in this dialogue, but he also needs a reason out of respect for the likes of Jira. So after Ryu is able to confirm what they were truly after by Yado charging in to grab the Torn Soul, now we're going to see a beatdown of the likes of everybody who is there. Sarada takes out her kunai and rushes towards Yado. I think this is Ryu who is controlling her. So Ryu has these crazy abilities. Ryu is that guy. I'm sorry. Ryu is actually growing on me. But continuing with the text, Ryu is controlling her, but then a sword slash appears to dissipate the iron sand from Yado. It is Ayara who uses his own sword. Chapter ends with Ayara and Ryu talking. So this chapter is actually a lot better than I thought it would personally be. With this betrayal, with this plot twist that we end up getting, it makes this whole confrontation a lot better. One thing that I am happy to see is no Boruto in this chapter. A lot of people complain about the lack of depth when it comes to the side characters. Not only are we seeing these characters having a lot more screen time, but also the likes of Ayara and Yado, characters from the Land of Wind that we saw in the anime when it came to the tuning exams, they are getting a shine. Ryu's ability to be able to control people. I can't wait when the chapter drops because there's going to be a lot to talk about when it comes to the likes of Ryu, and especially due to the fact that they are the ones who are betraying. Everybody was saying that, oh, the Leaf is betraying the Shinju, is betraying their trust, but the person who did that in the beginning is actually the likes of the Shinju. So this did subvert our expectations, and it just makes the chapter a whole lot better to me. Based off what I'm seeing, this chapter is going to be crazy, and there's a lot that we're going to have to talk about when this chapter ends up releasing. So you guys let me know your thoughts and concerns in the comment section below, and also let me know if the full pages that do end up being released, do you want me to make a video on it? There's a sneak peek page that will end up being released too. Either I'll simply post it on the community post so you guys can see it, or maybe if you want, I'll make a video just confirming if the text spoilers were actually true. You guys should be getting used to the text spoilers from now on, as it really seems like they are cracking down on the full pages being released. So let me know again your thoughts and concerns in the comment section below. It's been your boy Dynasty, and I'm out, bruh.